Niall McGrath, Talkingbrawls, MMA.com, here with MMA veteran referee Rich Mitchell. Rich, first of all, you're over in Dublin. Good to have you here. How's all with you, my friend?
Oh, everything's good, man. Just over here working with Joe Clifford, trying to do a few bits for his cut course. All good. Got to go and have a little roll around with Team Rhino earlier. It was awesome. It's been good.
I heard Razor was getting you in a few toe holes.
Stay away from that boy, honestly. Keep your toes to yourself around him.
Brilliant stuff. And I want to obviously get your opinion on what's going on on the refereeing scene at the moment. Yesterday, I want to get your opinions first of all. We had Ben Askren against Sapo 1FC yesterday, a controversial stoppage with the eye poke. How did you perceive that as an official watching onto that fight?
I didn't think it was that controversial. I think the replay clearly showed that he got thumbed in the eye. Obviously accidental. Askren was looking to set up a right hand or a shot. I don't think it was controversial. It was the way that it played out was awkward, but I don't think that 1FC use the same. They don't use unified rules, so they don't follow the kind of procedure that you come to expect. So it felt a little clunky. Yeah. Like it went on for a long time. It looked like they were trying to get him to carry on fighting even after he'd said that he couldn't see. It's obviously a bit disconcerting, but yeah, I thought it was. And the ref saw it, called time, saw the guy got thumbed straight away. So, apart from the fact that after he called time, he asked for a review, which I didn't really see the point in, because he'd clearly already seen the thumb, otherwise he wouldn't have stopped and called time. It was just, it was messy, basically. Yeah. It was the way it was handled. It seemed messy, but it was a fairly clear poke, so...
And what's, for someone who's not aware, what is the difference between, as you said there, you felt that the promoter might have, had something to do with possibly the fight being prolonged or it not being stopped in time. It ran over the time limit. Mm-hmm. What's the procedure between, obviously that's, it's not under the sanctioned unified rules of mixed martial arts, 1FC. What's the difference to someone who's unaware and...
I'm not 100% sure of what the procedure would be for 1FC because they've got their own rule set, but within the unified rules, if someone gets an unintentional foul, so say you poke me in the eye, the referee sees it, calls time. From the moment that time's called, there's another clock starts, much like the nutshot clock. So... If I need more than 5 minutes to recover, then we have to call an end to the fight. So the thing that happened the other day with the Ben Askren Sapo fight is that it went beyond. It looked like it was like 7-8 minutes, something like that, and that wouldn't be allowed to happen under the unified rules.
Looking at that, it's obviously a little bit embarrassing, really, for someone, obviously someone like yourself, myself, we're involved in the sport. We try to, promote the sport to make it as safe and, what's the word I'm looking for? Safe and, as mainstream as possible, really, to accept it to a mainstream audience. Yeah. That type of thing is embarrassing. Do you think there's a need to really get these promotions involved in the, the unified rules of mixed martial arts?
I'd certainly like to see more promotions moving over to the unified rules. I think it's the best thing out there at the moment. I don't think it's perfect, but I certainly think it's better than... I don't really like to see soccer kicks in a cage. I think that's sort of gone now at that time. But to take a positive from it, I thought Sapo's corner crew were awesome. They were straight away like, he can't fight. He's been poked in the eye. He's saying he can't see. We're not fighting. So, to take a positive there, I thought it was excellent cornering the way they sort of stuck up for him under what looked like a little bit of pressure to do otherwise,
You'd often see it there, you mentioned it there, the cornering aspect, obviously being an official in fights. Do you think there's a huge problem with corners in general in mixed martial arts for guys not stopping fights, not doing the right thing for their fighter when they're in the cage?
Yeah, I do. I mean, one of the things that I think that we don't see enough of generally is corner withdrawals. There's a grey area between where it's an appropriate point for a referee to step in and protect a fighter and where the fight's no longer competitive. And I think that area falls firmly under the remit of the corner, the seconds. I'd like to see more withdrawals, because when it gets to the point where a guy's just hanging in there to prove how tough he is, especially with amateurs, I just think it's pointless. You know, like, if he's doing enough to protect himself, and if he's staying safe, then it's not really my job to step in. It's not a referee's job to step in. But there's this idea in MMA where, because there's so many different ways to win, people think that anybody can win at any time, and it's sort of coined by Ben Cartledge. And I think he's got a real point, is that there's this real misconception that, you know, you just got to let it play out. And sometimes I think you'd be better off thinking of a fighter's future, especially in the amateur context, when there's no financial gain. You're in there to try and learn and get better. Yeah. So yeah.
And do you think that, you know, the difference between amateur and professional mixed martial arts, especially in a European context, do you think the standard of officiating is where it should be at the moment?
I think we're coming on leaps and bounds. I think we're very lucky in the UK and in Ireland. I think there's fantastic officials over here. I think, in my opinion, we've got some of the very best refs in the world, and I think we've got some of the very best, if not the best. I'll be honest, I think Mark Goddard at the moment, I think he's the best ref in the world for me. Watching him, he's so consistent. I'm not even, it kills me to say it because I know him, I'd never say it in front of him. And likewise, Ben Cartledge, Dave Leatherby, those guys, they're fantastic. I think they're on top of the heap, if I'm honest, in terms of consistency and the results that they deliver. So I think we're very lucky over here. Same with, you look at the cut men, like a lot of the people that work over in the UK and in Ireland, your Joe Cliffords, your John Tandys, your Bob Plants, these guys that have been around for a very long time and are genuinely trying to push things forwards and make them better. I think we're very lucky over here, very lucky.
Excellent. And speaking of that, obviously you're one of the most familiar faces in the cage on the European scene. Why aren't you in the Ultimate Fighting Championships yet? Why aren't the UFC appointing? You're clearly good enough.
I told you earlier that they've got plenty of bald English refs. They don't need any more.
KSW, you've told me you're going to be officiating there. Obviously, one of the biggest promotions in the world. Yeah. Exciting times for you. That's obviously
very
great
much
move.
so. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Got a show in 28 days, I believe, in Gdansk. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity. Looking forward to working with that promotion. Very big promotion, big production. You know. Good, excellent fights as well. I don't think it gets the spotlight that it deserves. I've been watching KSW for a while.
And they've a Wembley show as well coming up this year.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. They're coming over to London, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. In your
back door, I'm sure you'll be on that one as well. But let's look at, you know, from your point of view as a referee, you know, how do you assess your performance? You know, obviously, like a fighter, he's going to look back and, you know, be critical of yourself. Yeah. Are you always thinking about that element? Is there some...
Absolutely.
You know, would you watch back a fight that you've officiated and go, bang, 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 I would have done that differently?
Absolutely. Yeah, every time. I think being self-critical, realistically self-critical, is important in everything you do. And certainly when... Ultimately, look, I've got someone's hopes, dreams and aspirations in my hand. Like, they're trying to make a living out of this. And, you know, and ultimately they're toying with their consciousness out there. So it'd be remiss of me to not feel very... Like, you got to be on it, and you got to look back at your performances and be brutally honest with yourself. And it's often that I think, that was a punch late, that was a punch early, whatever it is, every single show you have to be brutal with yourself. I mean, there's always room for improvement, and if you don't think that, then you're probably not looking hard enough or being honest enough. I think all the referees I know do that. Like Mark Goddard's his own, you know, fiercest critic. He's told me many times, and I think all the good guys are like that.
Is there regrets?
Here and there. I mean, there's certainly things that I think I could have handled better, and there's mistakes that I've made in the past. But the important thing is not to repeat them. And, you know, if you can do that, only make that mistake once, then you've used it as a learning experience and trying to grow and improve as an official.
Just in relation to we've seen referees get criticism in the past due to poor decisions, poor decision making, poor calls, poor stoppages. We've seen promoters publicly come out and slate these certain officials. Do you feel the promoter's right to do that in one sense, or is it the particular commission's fault that the referee is being put on this platform?
I mean, I can understand and sympathise with a promoter that's having to use an official that they'd rather not. I can understand that must be frustrating for him. Obviously, I sympathise with the referee. I've completely understand that it's easy to make mistakes, but I think generally the level of refereeing at the top tier is pretty good, and that I know this is referees union a little bit, but I think generally the standard's very good and they don't get enough credit. It's the way it is. I mean, referees and officials are always going to get, and rightly so. Again, you've got people's careers in your hands, and if you don't treat that with the respect that it deserves, people's lives, their career, their earning potentials, this stuff matters to people, and so rightly so. There's a huge amount of there's a lot of focus on the referees that one bad decision can affect that. But generally, I think that the refereeing standard's very good.
And on the flip side of that, you as a referee, you as a person, obviously, if you have a bad performance, you're going to get criticism. That obviously hurts a lot.
It does, but again, as I said earlier, you have to have thick skin to be a referee, and you can't take it personally. It's about your performance, isn't it? So, if you have a bad performance, it's right that you're criticised. You've chosen to do something where you're going to perform in public, and you might very well make a mistake. You're going to get criticised. Again, this is a voluntary business. No one's making you do it. If you are going to struggle with that, maybe you shouldn't do it.
Definitely. Rich, it's been a real pleasure to chat to you, and I hope you're enjoying the lovely weather out here to your left and right
fantastic
in Dublin. So what's the plans for the next few weeks? A couple of shows coming up?
Yeah, I'm not working now till KSW, 28 days time. After that, I'm back out to Shock and Awe. Got Warrior Fight Series coming up. Yeah, lots and lots.
Real pleasure, Rich.
Staying busy, yeah.
Cheers for having you.
Thank you.